Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Oh, okay. Okay, so what we have... Okay, so my brain cells firing. Okay, so what we have, I mean, no offense, it looks like a stock photo. Did you make this photo? Or, because that's a great photo.
It is a stock photo.
Oh, okay. So
yes.
it's a sunset. It could be a sunset actually off of Wreck Beach, for all I know. The sun is the sky is super warm. It's a close-up photo of some surf. So it's not like big waves. It's just like the sort of the foamy surf hitting the shore. The water is just kind of clear, and there are a couple of like little features, mostly bubbles, I guess. And right in the middle at the bottom of the image is one of those glass spheres that kind of flips the landscape in back. So the colors are mostly orange. There's a sun setting, lots of oranges and blues reflecting against the sky. It's a powerful image, but you've placed the word mindset in the top left, which in a design perspective, like the top left sort of quarter, you have mindset. So clearly that's the focus of the image. So who are you? Lilian, what is this?
Well, one of the reasons why I chose that photo in particular with the glass dome is talking about a changing of perspective. And for me, having a strong and healthy mindset really comes down to that change in perspective of how you feel, how you think, and what your subconscious beliefs are about who you are, where you are in the world, and what you choose to do with your life. And that is really important to me because in my day job, I am a PR coach and publicist, and on a daily basis, I work with creative entrepreneurs to do things like break down their limiting beliefs, push past those mindset blocks, and really kind of get to the heart of, okay, why do you feel this way? Where is this fear coming from? Why do you feel stressed and anxious about moving forward with your business? What is the root of where your imposter syndrome is? And the reason I got into this, Ran, is because I spent a lot of years, I've been in business for myself for 15 years, and I spent a lot of that 15 years simply kind of following the status quo of what everybody else in the industry was doing. And as a result, I was getting burnt out. I didn't enjoy my work anymore. And I said, you know what? I'm at a point in my business where I could really use that third party outside perspective to help me figure out how to get back on track with this, how to fall in love again with what it is that I do. So I started working with my mindset coach, and she really completely changed my perspective into saying, hey, you know what? Just because the industry is going one way doesn't mean that for the rest of my working life, that's the only way I can do business, number one. Number two, I had a lot of great entrepreneurs coming to me and saying, you know what, I would love to work with you, but I cannot afford to pay you for a PR campaign. Mm-hmm. So I kind of sat down and went, you know what, there has to be a better way for me to continue to work with these phenomenal people and still provide them with that education to help them push past these mindset issues. But I cannot proceed to do that if I'm not first walking the walk that I'm talking to them about.
Okay. I look at you, I hear what's coming out of your mouth, and I see the slide of mindset, and it's same, but different from my perspective. Over the past 15 years, I've been running a kind of consultancy in service leadership, which is really about going into any kind of habitat, which is a company or an organization or group of people, and say, okay, well, what is the mindset going on here? And you use a phrase like self-limiting belief, imposter syndrome. I mean, that's less my thing, but self-limiting belief for sure. And this notion of mindset for me is absolutely everything, because that sets the tone for what you think may happen, and it also kind of in some ways puts a fence around what's possible, when actually you should constantly be breaking down that fence ahead of you. How can people find you online?
They can definitely follow me on Instagram at Lilian Sue, copywriter PR. I'm on there all the time, sharing, mindset tips, strategies, and tips for public relations and things like that. They can go to my website at inretrospectwritingservices.com. And to your point about it, they need to kind of break down that gate. So many of the people that I work with, when they first come to me, a lot of where those limiting beliefs come from is because they're always thinking about the negative. And they're
Okay.
always thinking about what if I launch something and it doesn't go well? What if I don't sell well? What if people, oh God, what if, people find out I don't actually know what I'm talking about and they think I'm a fraud? And what I do in coaching them is really focusing on, but what if that doesn't happen?
Mm.
What if you get that positive response? What if you get in front of the right audience and people start engaging with you? They start buying from you. They start believing in the story that you're sharing with them.
Mm.
And that's really kind of where, to me, I think mindset has the power to influence just about everything it is that you choose to do.
But for sure, for sure.
And without that, you end up making a lot more mistakes. Things don't go the way that you want, and you end up, quite frankly, sabotaging yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, for one client, just to kind of add my little thing, for one client that I worked with them for about a year, and the company was really hurting, and they'd lost lots of staff, lots in sales, and then I came in and essentially shifted their perspective or their mindset to say from, well, so far you understand your business and your operations to be within this sphere of the world, whatever it is. And then what I did was I just moved their gaze or the perception to go to see actually a much, much wider, larger perspective, and basically a change in mindset. And then the question is, well, how do you value that? Because you can't, it's not a tangible thing. It's not like a device that you plug into the back of the computer and then bing, you have a new mindset. So how do you convey to a person how to value a change in mindset? Because for somebody who's pretty much like, yeah, I know my business, I know what I'm doing, it's all good. How do you go to them and say, believe it or not, what will define your success is your mindset, and how do you value that?
I look at it as talking to them about, okay, where are you at in your business at this point in time? Where do you want to go? How do you personally, looking at it, think that journey has gone up until this point? Because there's always, nothing is ever perfect, as we know. There's always places where we could maybe push the envelope a little bit more. There's maybe ideas that we haven't thought of. And I look at it as, where are the gaps? And why do you think those gaps exist?
Mm.
And I work with them in, what we do is we do quite a few brainstorming exercises. We do journaling quite a bit to really kind of get down to the heart of, let's get introspective and really talk about and get this down on paper about exactly how you feel with your business and where it is that you be honest with yourself, actually have blocks.
Right.
Because even for the people that are doing well, what they don't realize is, even in the sphere of that, there are still mistakes being made. And looking at it and getting introspective with it allows you to kind of take a step back and go, these are the gaps that have existed for weeks, months, years that I haven't been able to see because I've been so focused on the sales strategy, on business development, and not really taking a step back and going, wait a minute, am I actually presenting myself the best way that I know how to do to the right audience? Because the other part of it is that I see a lot of, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and smaller businesses. So what they tend to do is they have a tendency to really create and put out content that shares who they are, but only in one way.
Okay. Yeah.
They'll put it out and then they'll call it good.
Yeah.
And then they'll wonder, why am I not getting the response to my story, to my brand, the way I want it to? And one of the big things I always tell them is, no two audience members are alike, no two customers are alike, and people will absorb information in different ways. So if you're only ever putting it out in one way, you're missing out on reaching people where they spend their time and how they want to absorb information and absorb stories as well. That's the other kind of big portion in a lot of businesses I see that people are sort of missing out on because they're so focused on sort of doing everything one way.
Okay. Well, let me ask you something. I agree with you. I hear you. I live in the same part of the village, as you. So it makes total sense to me. How do you ever expand that sort of conversation or that discussion, or even for a listener right now going, well, they're talking about business. Like, who gives a shit? I'm not a business person. I'm a painter. I couldn't care less. You know what I mean? Like, but I always say, well, substitute life management, not even just take out the word management, life, personal development experience with business performance or whatever, right? So how much of what you do is actually a personal...
I think there's a lot of correlations, and you can absolutely take the mindset strategies for business and apply them to life as well. Because so much of, speaking from my own experience, my family does not have an entrepreneurial background. I am only one of two in my family who chose to take that path. And in doing so, I came up against a lot of cultural norms, a lot of butting heads with my parents around what a career looks like, what a good life looks like, certainly what financial stability looks like. And as a result of that, I spent a lot of years in my business only believing that I could do things one way because I was chasing the wrong things.
Okay.
I was chasing the financial stability without thinking about how it would impact my daily life. Like, am I going to be spending, my weekends
right
chasing after money instead of enjoying life? Am I going to be worrying about how to put food on the table because I'm looking at, going into business with the wrong kinds of clients? And all of these things not only affect how I run my business, affect, your personal relationships as well, because a lot of these fears and a lot of how we were born, raised, and conditioned to see life, to see mindset, to see what it means to embrace joy can really affect how you choose to live. I mean, for the longest time, because of so much of, the internal strife within my family, like, I went to counseling, but I didn't realize until years later that it was only addressing the symptoms of what I was dealing with, not the root causes. And in doing mindset coaching, I really came to realize that I've developed different perspectives with the people in my life. Like, being able to let go of toxic relationships is a big one, personally and professionally. Being able to put healthy limits on myself in regards to what I do on a daily basis so I'm not burning out in whatever it is, even if it is hobby related things. Because when you get to that point, Brand, that is the easiest way to lose the ability to love even the things that you do as a hobby
Oh, for
for
sure.
fun, right? So it was really going through this coaching and applying it to my life that I was really able to sort of let go a lot of the unhealthy relationships, a lot of the unhealthy perspectives that don't serve me. And inherent in that is tied up to the fact that, my self worth is not tied into my productivity.
Right, right. That is an important sentence. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to put a bit of a stop to use that to go on to the next photo because I'm very curious. I'm curious. I didn't know this is going to be the conversation. This is great. Okay. So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.